Refugee Action Network has been in existence for quite a long time. We meet at a pub once a month and we organise things. We hand out lots and lots of bumper stickers, welcome to refugees. We've handed out 1,500 so far in the last 2 years. We also have t-shirts like this, and we do the corflutes, and we speak at rallies like this and whatever else we can do. Our goal is to change the public's opinion. I just wanted to speak briefly about the refugee situation. There's a difference between asylum seekers and refugees. Asylum seekers are people who are waiting to be granted refugee status. They can only do that through the UNHCR or a country that has signed the 1951 UN Convention. Australia signed that, therefore we should be honouring that, which we are not. The legalities are that we did sign that. In 1958 there was a Migration Act passed which said that we would support refugees. They cannot apply for asylum, for refugee status whilst they're in their own country. So the talk of them overstepping the queues or jumping the queues is rubbish. There are no queues. How can there be queues in countries like that? The other thing that needs to be stated very, very clearly is that nobody leaves their homeland on a whim. They leave because they are desperate. If they could go back, they would. Most of them are living in refugee camps in the country next to their homeland, hoping and praying that things will get better and they will go back. The idea that they have come here just to take our jobs and to get more on Centrelink is total rubbish. They want to go home. It's difficult to know how many have come, particularly with this new government. The statistics in 2012 that there were 17,000 people came here by boat. That is less than the people who would fill your local football stadium. It is not very many. It is a fifth of the SCG capacity. It is very, very few. Most refugees actually don't want to come to Australia. They would rather go to other countries. So we're not looking at being swamped, which is another lie we're being told. So we're being told that they're illegal and we're being told that they're coming here to swamp our country. It's rubbish. They're not. Now let's talk about the cost. The financial cost is estimated to be $1 billion a year to run the 3 offshore processing centres. Imagine the things that we could do in Australia with $1 billion a year, like housing, for example. The alternative is that we could bring them in, like the Fraser government did in the 1970s. There were 173,000 people, refugees, came from Vietnam in the 1970s. Because Malcolm Fraser realised that we had signed that convention that I mentioned, he said we cannot not let them in, as Gough Whitlam was trying to do at the time. We let them in. They settled happily, and look how wonderful how much we've benefited from them. All those wonderful Vietnamese. I totally agree with Father Rod. It's a matter of fear. When I was a child in the 50s, we had Italians come in our street and everyone was shocked and mortified. Now, spaghetti bolognese is the most common dinner served in Australia. And then when the Vietnamese came, I remember all that too in the 70s. Oh, don't let the boat people in. Look what they're going to do. It's all rubbish. It's all lies. I honestly believe that the Abbott government is trying to go for the bogan vote. I don't mean that rudely. There are a lot of people who don't follow politics. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to follow politics. But if you don't follow politics closely and you do listen to to Talkback Radio, or you do read any of the Murdoch press, you believe that they are coming here illegally. You believe that they are getting more Centrelink payments than everyone else. It's rubbish. They're not. It's a really sad thing when our government is going for that bogan vote. I think it's really embarrassing. We ain't bogan! I know. There's also the humanitarian cost and the cost to our image. I'm sure the tourist department would not be happy with the images that are going out in the media around the world of what's going on in Manus Island and what's going on with towing the boats back. Obviously the Abbott government do not have any better solutions. This is a stupid solution to just take them to another poor country. Now they're talking about Cambodia. It's the dumbest idea. It's one of the poorest countries in the world also. We all knew New Guinea was a violent country. That's not news to anyone. Port Moresby is one of the worst cities in the world to live in because of the violence. So what happened on Manus Island was only a matter of time. Sadly, I think it's played right into Scott Morrison's hands. I think he wants us to see how tough they can be when things get tough, which is a horrible way for a government to live. So I call on you, Scott Morrison and Tony Abbott, to close the offshore detention centres. Australia has a history of immigration since 1788. We have welcomed people from other countries and we do an excellent job of it. We are one of the most successful multicultural countries in the world. Let's welcome them. Thank you.